You posted that the U.S. cannot risk getting entangled into another decades-long conflict without congressional authorization. What do you mean by that?
I think what we're warning folks about is this is becoming a regional conflict. And I think the more important issue actually is what's happening right now in Israel and Gaza, that none of this would be happening if it wasn't for what's happening there. And the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu's end goal is different than the United States, that is a problem. And for some of us who want to be very, very careful before any American man or woman in the military, it has to be put into conflict's way. We want to make sure everything else has been exhausted first. And we're seeing this as potentially a broadening of that conflict. And I think that's what we're warning. Make sure you come and talk to Congress as required ultimately by the War Powers Resolution.
So what would you like the White House to do today?
Well, what I'd like them to do today is to have a very serious conversation with Benjamin Netanyahu. I think what's happening right now in the conflict is become a collective punishment of Palestinians in Gaza, 23,000 dead. Look, they have every right to go after Hamas, who committed a horrific attack on October 7th, but not the 2.3 million people, each and every one, including thousands and thousands of children who've been killed since this conflict has happened. And I think what we've been cautioning about is that if this broadens to Hezbollah and the Houthis and Iran, that suddenly we are involved in a very big regional war that could last for a long, long time.
So what is it that, other than speaking with Netanyahu, the president, you think needs to do when the Houthis, and we were just hearing from Courtney Kube on this, have been responsible for dozens of attacks. There have been more than 100 attacks, not only from the Houthis, but from other players in the Middle East against American interests in the Middle East since the end of October. What is the president to do if not defend the interests of the United States, specifically when they're being victimized by the Houthis?
And he can appropriately do that by coming to Congress, as required by the War Powers Resolution. The problem is the only reason the Houthis are even doing this is because there's not a ceasefire going on right now, as 23,000 people have been killed in Gaza. And let's remember, this issue with the Houthis, this war has gone on for 7 years. And Saudi Arabia has bombed them for 7 years, and they have not gotten the end result they wanted. To think that suddenly this is going to change that, I think that's a debate for Congress. But what I do know is that what's going on right now by different standards and different directives by Benjamin Netanyahu, specifically the fact that he doesn't believe in a two-state solution like the United States does, like President Biden does, that's in direct conflict with our values. And if that broadens the conflict and puts American men and women at risk, that's when Congress really has to speak out. And we're just trying to warn the president and ask him to be more engaged on this.
Congressman Mark Pocan, I thank you very much for being with us. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.